The aim of this year's International Women's Day was to inspire inclusion. From technology to academia, women are leading the fight to eliminate gender bias and forge a more equal world. Welcome to The Exchange from our studios here in Doha. Coming up, I speak to two women who are leading the way when it comes to inclusion. Catherine Mayer from the International Conference Group Web Summit. She's also the new CEO of US radio network NPR. Plus, Dr. Shahina Janjua-Jivran, author and educator of one of the world's leading business school brands. Well, International Women's Day is a day that highlights the strength, courage and resilience of women around the world. With its origins dating right back to 1911, International Women's Day was officially recognised in 1975 by the United Nations. Since then, March the 8th is celebrated for the social, economic, political and cultural achievements of women across the globe. Catherine Mayer is the CEO of NPR, a vast media network of over 1,000 US radio stations. She's also a board director of events organisation Web Summit. I caught up with her to get her perspective on the fight for equality in the boardrooms of big tech.
I am encouraged by the trends that we see around women being in leadership roles generally, in politics and academia. I have to say that the technology world is not keeping up. We're seeing incredible graduation rates of women coming out of STEM programs. That's particularly true here in the Middle East. We're seeing that women are graduating with advanced degrees at higher rates than men all across the globe, but we are not seeing that translate into women founders who are being successful, being able to raise capital for their ventures. We are not seeing that translate into necessarily women leadership at the top of the large technology companies. And I know for Web Summit, one of the things that we invest very deeply in is our Women in Tech program, which brings thousands of women into our events. We focus on trying to achieve gender parity in terms of our attendees. We really focus on women founders at our startups. About 1/3 of our startups at Web Summit Lisbon were women founded. So we're doing our part. We feel like the rest of the industry needs to continue to do its part as well.
Catherine Mayer there on how corporate leadership is changing. But could gender also be altering the way institutions invest? Our reporter Cyril Feneres in Paris has been exploring the link between female investors and saving the planet.
Hello, Guy. It's a fact. Women invest less than men, but this is changing, and the good news is that it can change the world too. We talked to Catherine Bonin, the president of Europe's first network of women business angels. Merci d'être avec nous. Parlez-nous de cette nouvelle génération d'investisseuses.
Elle est formidable, cette nouvelle génération d'investisseuses. L'essor des crypto-monnaies ou l'essor des startups a fait que maintenant, on parle beaucoup plus argent et investissement dans les jeunes générations et que ce sont elles qui sont les plus motrices parmi la communauté des femmes investisseuses.
Vous notez aussi une accélération de l'investissement à impact chez les femmes. Expliquez-nous.
L'investissement à impact pour les femmes est assez naturel parce qu'elles sont en recherche de sens. Et à cet égard, l'investissement à impact, c'est-à-dire l'investissement par exemple dans le secteur environnemental, sur l'énergie solaire, ou encore l'investissement dans le domaine sociétal. Je pense au secteur de la santé, mais surtout le secteur du handicap. En faisant un investissement dans une entreprise qui agit dans ce domaine-là, les femmes investisseuses peuvent avoir un impact sociétal, économique et environnemental.
Qu'est-ce qu'il faut faire alors pour aller vers plus de parité et donc un monde plus durable, plus inclusif?
Alors d'abord, il faut chiffrer, mesurer, c'est la première chose. La deuxième, c'est de sensibiliser les femmes à l'investissement. Et pour ça, il faut commencer à parler de l'investissement et de l'économie à l'école.
That's it, Guy. As you can see, there's still a long way to go, but the momentum is right.
So what can be done to maintain this momentum? I spoke to Dr. Shahina Janjua-Jivran, Associate Professor in Leadership and Innovation at HEC Paris Business School in Qatar. She's also an award-winning author. And I started by asking her about the glass ceiling and what steps employers and women should adopt to smash through it.
The glass ceiling is still a thing, but actually there is another area we need to pay a lot more attention to, and that's it's got two names. Either it's called the sticky floor or the broken rung. If women don't get the right support from their direct line managers, that's the point at which they leave the organisation.
What's your message to CEOs over the next sort of 2 to 5 years?
It's not enough to walk the talk. It is really throwing resources, investing in it. This is what makes a difference for women's careers.
So lots of challenges, but is there also hope?
Pre-COVID, the World Economic Forum had estimated it would take 100 years to reach gender parity. That data last year is now at 131 years. So we're talking about 5 generations. And that's really where the problem is, that there is a lot of work going on, there's a huge amount of activity. We have International Women's Day, but it's not enough. We need leadership commitment to it.
So one of your most recent books, Take the Lead, A Call to Action. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
The book is for women, and it's also for men to take on the role of allyship and to recognise their role as champions, which is a much more nuanced form of sponsorship to support women into leadership. So challenging assumptions around imposter syndrome, challenging assumptions around how women lead teams, and some of the data that's quite old actually bringing a fresh approach to it.
Now for our Business in 60 feature. And this time we focus on companies with women at the helm. Start the clock. Oracle will be declaring its quarterly results this month. The database and tech company maintained a strong share price throughout 2023. 2024 looks promising for the company as it expands operations throughout the world, intending to break into the market in the Middle East. Fashion brand Chanel will be launching their new spring-summer collection this month. 2023 was an exciting year for the brand, launching new stores across the MENA region. The iconic fashion label will be hoping that the new collection will be good news for shareholders and a continuation of its performance in 2023. And General Motors is hosting its annual Investors Day. The giant American automobile manufacturing company had a mixed set of results in 2023, being forced to lay off more than 1,000 workers in its Michigan-based factory. Let's hope for shareholders and the company that 2024 brings much better news. Inside the boardrooms of the world's biggest businesses, equality and diversity have never been more closely monitored. But as we've heard, companies need to evolve in order to stay alive. This means inclusivity, the theme of this year's International Women's Day, is not just about forging a fairer world. It's equally emerging as a strategy for longer-term financial success. Well, that's all we have time for on this edition of the show. Thank you for watching. Please do check out euronews.com for all your latest business news. And join us again next time on The Exchange.